back. Honorable Dino Melaye used to be the spokesperson of Nigeria's House of Representatives, but at some point he lost that position. He later became the leader of a group of lawmakers in the House who called themselves at the time now the Integrity Group and were strongly opposed to the Speaker of the House at the time, Dimeji Bankole. He lost his bid to come back to the House in the last general election and has since left the PDP, the party through which he was elected a member of parliament back in 2007. Mr. Melaye now joins me live on the program. Thank you very much for coming on the program, Mr. Melaye. Should I call you honorable? Once an honorable, always an honorable, right?
Yeah. Good evening, viewers. Honorable, yes, but...
and once a senator, always a senator.
Yeah, but I prefer my traditional title more, Otumba.
Otumba, okay. Tell me, do you miss the House of Representatives? I mean, you must miss it a lot, considering the fact that you were very active in the House. You know, it was like 1 week, one issue involving Dino Melaye.
Yeah, I won't say I miss the House of Representatives per se, but I would have said it would have been an opportunity to actually ameliorate and palliate the problems we have now as a nation, because everyone knows that Nigeria right now is not only sick, but equally suffers from what I call a dreadful congenital abnormality.
You talk about problems. Some people think and still think that when you were in the House of Representatives, you were a problem.
Anyway, everyone is entitled to reason the way he or she actually wants. But I think those who are actually not transparent enough will see me as a problem. But those who believe in just an egalitarian society, those who believe in a new Nigeria, those who believe in transparency, those who believe in doing things the right way will definitely appreciate me. So I have no apologies for those who feel I'm a problem to them. Possibly they are corrupt.
Let us look at the current House of Representatives now. I mean, tell me, is it different from the House you served in? The current House of Representatives, you look at the series of probes the House is conducting, oversight functions and all of that. We never had that kind of thing, I mean, during your time in the House.
It's not true that we didn't have that during my time in the House.
Or maybe they were not public knowledge.
But the truth of the matter, there was the power probe. There was a couple of probes during my time in the House of Representatives, but maybe there was an ineptitude in leadership that did not actually make some of this probe to come to limelight. If not, the power probe was a very good probe, $13.2 billion wasted on power, and a proper probe was conducted. But the probe never saw the light of the day. I am not even sure the probe was submitted to the executive arm of government. So that would have been the problem of ineptitude in leadership.
But what do you make of what is going on now in the House of Representatives, this House? How would you assess it?
Basically, I want to tell you that I appreciate what is going on in the House of Representatives, especially the subsidy probe. It's a probe that actually will be a test of a test to show if actually we are sincere about the fight against corruption.
Why are you so particular about the subsidy? It's not just the subsidy probe that is going on. We have other probes going on as well.
But it's only the subsidy.
Capital market probe is going on.
It's only the subsidy probe now that has been concluded and report submitted. So it's the only one I can actually talk on right now. And the probe is a very wonderful one. Nigerians will embrace it. And actually, the battle to get it institutionalized and the recommendations carried out is a battle of no retreat, no surrender. We are already collecting signatures in Abuja, asking that every public officer that is indicted in that probe
Have you
be
seen
suspended.
the report?
I've seen the report.
You've seen the report?
Yes, and we are saying every public officer indicted in that report should be suspended by Mr. President.
Very good. It means what people like you are saying may not be very far away from what the Save Nigeria Group is saying, you know, calling for action. What do you make of the demand now by the Save Nigeria Group that, you know, it will want to see arrests being made now, people getting suspended, and that, you know, you would also want to see an independent prosecutor?
Yeah, basically from every logical point of view, except you're being myopic, porous, and parochial. You definitely know that what we are asking
now
for...
Now you're beginning to sound like one of your colleagues.
Yeah. No, the truth of the matter is that corruption is the bane of our development in this country, and it's becoming outrageously calamitous. So there's a need for instantaneous amelioration and palliation.
You need to break down this English a bit. I mean, you are not Honorable Patrick Etteh.
So there's a need for correction. So basically, as I speak, the Minister of Petroleum, the Group MD and NPC, the Executive Secretary of PPRA, these are people that are automatically indicted. They are already indicted, whether they like it or not. The Minister of Petroleum is the chairman of the board of NNPC. So she should pretend over the NNPC. She should pretend over the PPRA. If she says she's not aware of these things happening under her, then she's not fit to be there. And if she's aware,
you say you've seen the report,
it,
and the report clearly indicted her.
Of course, yes.
Okay.
Of course, yes.
Now, tell me, what exactly would you want to see the EFCC do in the coming days?
Yeah, before I answer what the EFCC will do, what I want to see the president do is to take cue from Yaradua. The former Minister of Health, the professor, and the Minister of State, Gabriel Aduku, were indicted in a health corruption scam. Whether rightly or wrongly.
The court eventually threw out anyway.
That's what I'm saying. But what the president did at that time, Yaradua did of blessed memory, was to immediately suspend them as ministers, while prosecution, investigation continues with the EFCC and ICPC. So to this extent, we expect that immediately the report of the House of Representatives is not a market square report. It's not a community beer parlor report. It's a report that was endorsed by the representatives of every.
And you think that committee did a thorough job?
Very well. I have no problem with what they have done. They may not have the expertise to do a detailed elucidate very seriously on issues, but that report is enough for the government that is sincere about fighting corruption to take an immediate step.
Let us now go back to your time in the House of Representatives. I mean, you look back and do you have any regrets at all?
No regrets whatsoever. No regret whatsoever.
There's something that actually happened in the House. I mean, what you've become so famous. So I want to play a video now. I just want us to take a couple of minutes now. I want you to take a look at that video, and then when we come back, tell me what you think. Okay, let's take a look at the video now. This is like, a reality show, so to speak. Your time in the House of Representatives. Deadline, June 2010. Take a look.
And by the provision of Section 24 of the Legislative House's Powers and Privileges Act, any person who publishes any statement, whether in writing or otherwise, which falsely or callously defames a legislative house or any committee thereof, publish any statement, whether in writing or otherwise, which falsely or scandalously defames a legislative house.
You will not take it! 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 You touch me! You touch me! You touch me! Not in this house. Not in this house. We did this before. You will do it again. We did this before. You will do it again. You push me. You push me. You push me. You push me. You will pay. Believe me, you will pay. You remove that innocent woman. The same issue. What is suspension of parliamentary? Suspend them of us. Because they are what?
Move it. Now, why do we look this way? They do like. Leave it.
Let everybody go back to where they came from. Beat him up. Beat him up. Beat him up.
Come on. Yes.
You will do it again. Do it again. You will do it again. You push me. 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 You will pay. Believe me, you will pay. You will pay.
Sit down.
Must be eliminated.
Oh, Dino,
Yeah.
do you regret that?
Basically, I want to be speaking with every sincerity of purpose of heart and commitment. I have no regrets because what actually happened was that we have a rule in the House.
Yeah.
And the rule is that at any point in time that the point of order is raised, it must be taken immediately by our rules.
And if that rule is not taken, what happens?
I'm coming. It must be taken immediately. There's no any other way to it.
No, but I'm saying if the rule is not taken, should you have taken the law into your hands?
I'm coming. There's no provisions for what happens if not, because it is mandatory. It is pertinent. It is categorically stipulated in our books that once you raise a point of order, the speaker must, as a matter of urgent necessity, recognize you. So when I shouted point of order, one, point of order the second time, point of order the third time, and the speaker deliberately refused to listen to me, refused to recognize me.
In that case, what should you have done?
At that point, the speaker had created a state of anarchy on the floor of the House. Because if you say point of order, no matter what is involved, at that point in time, the speaker, because I have a point of order to stop the man speaking, because the man was quoting from a book that is not from a portion of an act wrongly, and apart from that, he was quoting it. Apart from quoting it wrongly, it was not applicable at that point in time. So, if Mr. Speaker had listened to me, I would have used a particular section of our.
No, I get your point. The
whole brouhaha was generated by the speaker, who already had. There was meeting before meeting. They had a plan already.
I get your point. I mean, we all know we followed the process then. But what I'm saying is, should you have reacted the way you did? For instance, even when you got up and you were shouting point of order, you were not recognized. Yes. I mean, your call for point of order was not recognized. You still went on to snatch the paper from this man. And then you tore it.
Abnormal situations demand abnormal instruments. The speaker is responsible for the whole confusion that happened on the floor of the House. Because if there's a rule, it is the speaker that is the custodian of the rules of the of the House of Representatives, and he ought to respect that rule. For the moment he refused to respect the rule, in the moment already, because they had a plan, a premeditated plan to come and suspend us. And when I raised the point of order, he ought to have listened to my point of order. After all, he is to rule on that point of order.
Let me ask you. We also saw Honorable Solomon Awinawe at the time, running to grab the maize.
With due respect, we are all human beings. We have blood flowing through our nerves and not kerosene. Once in a while, you actually move off track, which many of us did on the floor of the House. And it may not be the best of what to do at that point in time. But the truth of the matter is that the speaker at that point was not responsible enough to obey the rules of the House. But
if you were given a second chance, I mean, would you have handled the situation differently? Now, with the benefit of hindsight, would you have handled the situation differently?
But I want to be very categorical that if situations were to rewind itself again, and I'm seated in the chamber, and I raise a point of order, and the speaker refuses, and I know that already they have a plan. If you see the video you just watched, you can never see anywhere where I had physical or I fought anybody. Oh, no. There was nowhere that I fought. In fact, I was already out of the chamber before Honorable Mbe. I was on my way out of the chamber before Honorable Mbe pulled me from behind and ran away and disappeared. He pulled me from. I was not. It wasn't as if there was any physical battle. But the truth of the matter is that the truth has. I mean, it has no color. It has no color. We raised a corruption issue on the floor of the House. I was the one that raised the issue, and I was not removed as chairman. In your intro, you said I was not removed. I resigned as chairman of the House Committee on Information and National Orientation because I said I cannot work with a corrupt leadership.
Well, some people said you already knew you were going to be removed.
Nobody removed me, and no motion was on the ground.
Something else. I mean, that was not the only time you had a problem in the House. I mean, I remember when Honorable Patricia Etteh was elected Speaker of the House of Representatives, and she was to appear before that committee. The Ethics Committee now set up to investigate her. You fought as well. Honorable Emmanuel Jime.
Let me clarify that, because there's been a lot of misconception about that too. Basically, Etteh was the Speaker of the House of Representatives.
No, we're not looking at.
Now, I understand what you're saying. She was invited to face a panel to clarify to clarify whatever allegations they have against her. And immediately she appeared. a member of the House of Representatives stood up and started shouting, "Ole, ole, ole." At that point in time, the chairman of that panel, I expected, is to ask that member of the House to walk out of.
And that did not happen.
And that did not happen. And not just that did not happen, one of them pushed her. One of them pushed her. This is the speaker number 4 woman in the country. And number 1, you invited her to come and answer questions. She's even yet to sit down.
I actually did not see where she was pushed.
No, somebody pushed her. Somebody pushed her. I supported her. Somebody actually pushed her, and I supported her. So our ADC also at that point came in.
But we also saw you jumping over the desk, and
no,
then
there was confusion everywhere, and Jime actually was the one shouting the ole ole, and it wasn't in the chamber though that everybody lost his cool, and we were all wrong in that instance.
You admit you were wrong as well.
Our reaction. Our reaction from both sides was not the best at that time.
Let us look at, the House then. I remember you were a staunch supporter.
But there are times that even my Lord Jesus Christ applied Koboko on some errant people when they were trying to mess up his father's temple. He had to apply Koboko. So there are times that you actually need, like the kingdom of God suffered violence and only the violence taken by force.
Because it would appear that in most of these cases you were like taking the law into your own hands.
No. There was no taking of law into one's hand. It was trying to correct an anomaly.
But you
maybe
look,
not in the best.
You look at what happened in the House then, especially with your group, the Integrity Group, and all of that, and the issue of Patricia Etteh. Take a look. Just go back now and
progressive-minded legislators.
Do you think it was politically savvy at the time to be backing a cause when you knew, for instance, you never had the number? I remember.
Let me clear that air. You see, the House then was a very the situation was funny because what I raised the issue of corruption on the floor. Secondly, again, when we noticed that our budget was being misappropriated.
Let me put this straight for you. In the case of Etteh, you were supporting Etteh, and at some point you addressed a press conference and you said, well, it was, politics was a game of number, and that you had the number to keep Honorable Patricia Etteh in the House. Eventually you lost. It turned out that you didn't have that number. Now, in the case
we had the number.
Well, if you had the number, why did you lose?
But some characters commercialize their consciences. Some characters commercialize their consciences.
You didn't embrace that.
At the end of the day, we left a meeting that morning, 130 of us at the PDP Secretariat. Between the PDP Secretariat and the chamber, we were 9 left. At the end of the day,
what happened?
At the end of the day, we became 1.5. People.
Quite surprising. You didn't know this was going to happen. You didn't see this.
Because I don't have the celestial powers to read people's mind. I do not have celestial powers to read people's mind, because I believe in loyalty. I believe in doing the right thing, not minding others' God. Many a times when I raise motions on the floor of the House, I know the motions may not succeed. I know they are going to antagonize it. I know they're going to fight it. But I will do it even if I'm standing alone, because I believe it's the right thing to do at the time.
And also in when the issue of Dimeji Bankolina, speaker at the time, you never had the number, and you pressed ahead.
It is not.
Along the line, some members of your own group also backed.
Deji, it's not about number. It's about doing the right thing, even if you're standing alone. Even amongst the group of 11, you will recall that some of us, even before we went to court, withdrew from court. Some of us disappointed us. But I don't believe in that. I believe if I'm standing, even at the point of risking my life, you should stand for the truth at all times. So that was why I stood. And the point is, like now, we are saying that the issue of the subsidy report, even if we are minority, we are collecting signatures in Abuja. As at yesterday, we've collected 96,000 plus signatures. And on Wednesday, by the grace of God, we are marching to the National Assembly to present these signatures to the Senate President, to say that the Ziani and co, they must be suspended.
So even if you're in the minority, really,
it doesn't matter.
But you take a look back at your time in the House. There
was a time I had 264 signatures. The day I moved the motion for Dimeji to be suspended, people saw it rationally. They signed, and I had 264 signatures, and I was very, very proud, and I went to the chamber with the signatures. And immediately I moved the matter on the floor. I didn't know between 3 a.m. and 10 a.m. something happened, and immediately I moved the motion. I was alone on the floor of the House, but I still went ahead to move it.
What lessons would you say you've learned? I mean, in the House of Representatives.
I've learned very serious lessons of betrayal. I've lessons that Nigerians, most of our consciences are commercialized, monetized. But the truth of the matter is that the battle to salvage this country is a battle of no retreat, no surrender.
Now you also
Now
you also left the PDP. After you lost the primaries,
yes.
you left the PDP.
Yeah, because
for the ANPP, and then now you're an ACN now.
Because once I was blind and now I can see.
What party are you now?
I am in the only progressive party in the country right now.
ACN.
The ACN. Yes.
Now, within the space of say 6 months or less than that, you changed party twice.
Let me tell you what has happened.
Some people say
I didn't change any party.
It does not portray you as a serious
party. I didn't change party twice. I will educate you on that. What actually happened was that I was a member of the People's Democratic Party. I won my primaries. I won my primaries neat and clean. But because some people say it's going to become a problem in the National Assembly, it's going to orders from above, I was denied the tickets. And two, after we even conducted the general elections, all the Nigerians knew what happened. I didn't lose my elections, but I don't know what happened. Some people, they said we should go and get our results from a different place and all that. But that is not even the problem now. What happened by moving to ACN is that there was an amalgamation. There was a fusion with ANPP and ACN in Kogi State.
Well, the ANPP
there was a merger. There was a merger between ANPP and ACN in Kogi State. Anybody that is telling you that there's ANPP in Kogi State right now is daydreaming. There's nothing like ANPP. So what we did was to merge together, and we presented Prince Abubakar Audu as our candidates of the ACN. And I'm in the ACN and I'm happy there because on the PDP, when I was in the PDP, I thought it was a smooth road. I saw potholes, but 100 kilometers down the line, I started seeing hollows.
You saw potholes and you started seeing hollows after you had served as a member of the House of Representatives for 4 years.
Let me tell you something. The platform, you actually don't know a road until you take it. And like I said earlier, I don't have the celestial powers to read the future or see what will happen. The truth of the matter is that it's not a party for people like us.
So you're telling me if the PDP were to offer you a ticket today, you would not go back?
Darkness and light don't concur. Darkness and light don't concur at all. But the truth of the matter is that the battle is not about party. The battle is not about individual. The battle is that every Nigerian must decide either to walk in the light of creative altruism or we perish in the darkness of destructive selfishness.
So what are you up to these days?
What I'm up to is like we're trying to build a new Nigeria.
No, I'm saying what do you do now? You're no longer in the House of Representatives. What exactly do you do now?
I have a couple of businesses, but right now I'm running an NGO, an anti-corruption NGO in Abuja.
But you're not done with politics yet, are you?
Oh, never, man. How can? At what age? I mean, I'm still going to contest for the presidency of this country. Okay, and
you still hope to go back to the National Assembly, either Senate or House of Reps?
Actually, that will depend on... I know I have something coming up 2015, but I can't tell you what it is now. But when we get to that bridge, we'll cross it. But I want to tell you that I'll still be active politically for the next 40 years.
For the next 40 years. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Dino Melaye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Please encourage Jonathan to fill up, to suspend those he needs to suspend. Please.
All right. Thank you very much for coming on the program. Well, we've been speaking to Honorable Dino Melaye, who used to be a member of the House of Representatives. And, of course, he was once the spokesperson of the House, I should say. And these days he's doing his own business. And, of course, you heard him. 40 years down the line, he'll still be active politically. That's it on the program tonight. We thank you very much for watching. We're back again next week. I am Deji Badimosi. See you then.